Hey, what's up? My name is Kristen. In today's video, we're going to flip through all of the Erin Condren planners that I used in the month of November and talk about what worked and what didn't with my planning and what I will continue doing in the future. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you're subscribed and I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to start with my horizontal life planner because that's the one that you see the most often and I can get through it pretty quickly. Then we're going to move on to the harmony neutral and then we will flip through every single page of the daily duo. This is the monthly plan that I just kind of wrote after the fact because I realized that I need to have my monthly plan in every planner. It's kind of annoying to write it 3 times, but that will change in the new year. If you haven't seen it yet, please go and watch my 2023 stack video where I kind of talk about how I'll only be using one planner for scheduling. So that's that. I really liked this, even though I was annoyed that I had to write it again. I liked that there weren't stickers all over it. I did have some stickers, but I really liked just writing on it. So that was nice to figure out. Didn't use this. I kind of tried to start making a list here and then I was like, this is silly. I'm just going to keep using the one in my daily duo. Didn't use that page. Here is a fall spread. This was the week that had Halloween on it, and so I did add a little Halloween, couple of little elements here that also matched the kit. This was a kit from Sweet Sticker Bliss. It's no longer available. It was something I got in a swap. I liked I liked just writing things on the paper. That's like a trend I have figured out that I just like that a little more than having everything be like layered on stickers and whatnot. And it's kind of helped me realize that I might not need to buy a bunch of scripts in the future. I did move my dinners over here. They used to be over here, and then I started putting in the box on the horizontal all of the things that I needed to do where I personally was going to be busy with something, so that I could easily look and see like there was a lot of stuff going on this day, and so maybe I shouldn't schedule other things or expect to get a lot of tasks done. I did like using the sidebar as a catch-all to-do list. But yeah, there's that. I didn't use this week because I planned in a different planner whenever I pre-planned. This was the week prior to leaving for our trip to Canada. And I think I used, we'll find out, but I probably just used my daily duo that week. I don't know, we'll look. I may have used a list in my family organizer book. So obviously nothing there. This was the week we were gone. I did have a plan with me for this week where I set this up. When I did this, I thought I could go back in and fill this out when we got home with like memories or like what really happened or whatever. And of course I didn't do that. I should have known better. Nothing exciting here. You can watch the plan with me. But I don't think I would plan like this in a normal week. Didn't do anything here. This was the week of Thanksgiving. We had family in town. My routine was all thrown off. I didn't plan at all this week, but I will show you the list I made in my other book for this week. And then that's the end. So that was my horizontal life planner. Let's move on to the family organizer book. Here is the monthly spread of that one. I liked this one as well because the colors are nice and calm. I like how I used the washi here. I actually cut this washi in half to make it thin. I don't know, I just really liked it. And it also helped me figure out how I want to use my monthly spreads in the future. This is how I used this spread. I do change it up because I don't need this like recurring task list, which I will show you what it looks like. It looks like this and it has a Monday through Sunday over here. I don't need that, so I just changed it to a tending list, and it was different like categories for different goals. For our trip, prep, work, things I need to do outside, the home planner I was working on, Thanksgiving prep, student loan forgiveness, and then Christmas cards and things. This is a checklist, and I intended to go check them off. I was going to use these stickers to check things off. November just got away from me. Once I started packing for the trip and prepping for the trip like the week before, I just stopped using my planners. All of this stuff got done. I just never did anything with it. I didn't plant the daffodil bulbs, but a lot of stuff got done here. I didn't do any habit tracking, but we know that about me. I didn't add anything to the home checklist or do any of my cleaning. This is a cleaning checklist I designed and printed on a sticky note. I was going to use this, but I didn't. This is the Thanksgiving menu. So I had said in here, the week of Thanksgiving, I did not plan in this book. So that's the empty week, but this is what I did. I wrote the menu out on this note page, and then I just wrote my shopping list, and yeah, that's it. That was the planning that I did the week of Thanksgiving. That's all it was. There might be some stuff in my daily duo. I don't know. I can't remember. We'll see. I'll find out with you. This was a project I was working on. My chalkboard, calendar, command center. Those were just some notes about it. I have since finished that. I've used it all of November, and I just changed it for December. If you want, you can go to my Instagram. It's at Kristen Kramer on Instagram, and you can go see, I have some reels where I have a November one and a December one, so you can see how that turned out. I didn't have another project in November. Here's where I was doing the planning, I guess. So this is where I figured out how I want to use my planner going forward in 2023. So let me move the sticky note so you can see. This is just a monthly calendar I wrote out. This was week 44 and this was week 45. I just took the notes pages. So every month there are some notes pages in this book. They're just blank lined notes pages. There's 4 in a row, and I started just using them as a running to-do list, and then I drew out some the week here on the left, and just to note any day specific things. And then I just kept adding to the list as the week went on, and I really ended up liking it. And so as I got where there was a lot of stuff being checked off, I went back, and the things that didn't have checks yet, I wrote a note here to remember to tell you this. I highlighted on Thursday of this week, I went back and highlighted everything that wasn't done yet, just to draw attention to it so it wouldn't get lost in all the other check marks. So that's why some things are highlighted. And that way I could see that still wasn't done yet, because it was getting kind of busy with all the check marks. And then the meals here, I've recently switched to just having 3 different meals a week, and then the other days are just things that always repeat, like breakfast for dinner or taco night. And so I always have ingredients for the things we always have, and then I have my grocery list for things that I need for these meals, and so I just write them here so I don't forget which extra meals we're having that week. And then this was just my content stuff, what was going up each day, and when I needed to do comments for those videos. And then I just did the same thing on this week. This was a cleaning schedule that I didn't end up doing anything on. And that's just, that's typical for me. So I do clean, I just don't write it down. I just clean stuff when it needs to be cleaned. My house is not immaculate, and it's not ready for the queen at all times, and I just need to be okay with that. We live here, and if the floor is dirty, I will notice it, and then I will clean the floor. And having a checklist and trying to figure out a system that makes sure my floor is always clean and regularly cleaned, it's just not working for me. I just need to clean it when it's dirty, I'll just clean it. I have a white floor. I'm gonna be able to tell it's dirty, and it's not like, and I also don't have animals, and I don't have a baby crawling on my floor, so I don't need to make sure it's like always sanitized. It's just me and my teenage kid, and so we clean up our spills when they happen, and then once the floor gets a little bit grimy or there's some like leaf pieces from walking in and out of the house, I'll just sweep it up. Anyway, that's a long way of saying I didn't use my checklist, my cleaning checklist. This next week, this was the Thanksgiving sales wish list, like the Black Friday sales and Cyber Monday sales. I started making a checklist so that I could kind of stay focused and grounded a little bit and not go crazy buying things just because it was like a little bit cheaper than it normally is. I didn't need anything, and so there weren't any huge deals that I needed to make sure I took advantage of. It was literally just, if there's stuff I want, do I want it now when it's cheaper? And so I did have a video up where I talked about the Black Friday deals from Erin Condren. I did place one other order, and that order hasn't arrived yet, but I will show it to you when it does. Planner Kate, I did place an order. She had different deals each day, or like the discount got better each day up through Cyber Monday, which was the most, and it was 40% off. I ended up ordering on Saturday when it was 35% off because the chance that things were going to sell out and Planner Kate doesn't restock during that sale. And so I just thought I would rather have this stuff because it was stuff I was going to use for my channel. I would rather have it than save that extra 5%. So I didn't actually write the list in here though. Here's some sticky notes I had just put here to pre-plan with and didn't use. Did not use these pages. Did not use this page, and that's about par for the course for this book. This book I am not going to be using in 2023. Well, okay, I don't want to say I'm not going to use it. I'm going to say that I don't have a use for this yet so far. And so this is just going to go on my shelf. I'm going to clip out everything I've used up until January and just put it on my shelf unused. That way it's like a fresh new book and it won't have a bunch of old stuff in it. And if I wanted to give it to someone, I have someone that I can think of right now that I think might benefit from the structure and format of this book. And so I'm going to feel them out. It's someone I know in real life. And see if they're interested in it if I can't think of another reason to use this. I really like the book. It just doesn't really work for my family right now. This is my daily duo. This is the one that's always on Instagram, which actually lately it hasn't been. I've been struggling with Instagram and I do use it, but I use the planner, but I'm not really posting it as much as I used to. I used to post a picture of my list every single day, but honestly, I'm just kind of bored with it. I'm trying to kind of change up my content a little bit. Let's go to the November tab. So this is the one that I did for my channel, for my monthly plan with me. I actually wrote a bunch of notes in here, so let's go over that. Every month I have to manually resubscribe to a Twitch streamer that I follow because you get a free Twitch subscription with your Amazon Prime membership every month. But you have to manually resubscribe or pick a different streamer to subscribe to or whatever. But I want to make sure that this one streamer who streams Minecraft content, I want to make sure that streamer gets credit for my subscription, even though I don't have a lot of time lately to watch the streams, let alone even play Minecraft, which I love. And that's a goal for 2023 is to play more Minecraft again. So every month I have to remember to go back and resubscribe to this streamer. So the weird thing about it is it's not always on the same day. And I figured out like the system, which it wasn't like hard to figure out. It just, I never wrote it down. And then the next month I could never remember what it was. So I wrote it down this time. So the day that the subscription expires is the day the next month on the same day of the month that you subscribed. So for November, the sub expired on the 29th, which means on the 30th, I was able to re-sub to this streamer. So this was the last day of the sub, and then the first day that I could resubscribe was the 30th. Well, then next month in December, the sub is going to expire on the 30th, which means on the 31st of December, I will be able to resubscribe. So every month it moves back by a day. So it's not something that's like, I can just say every month on the 30th, I need to resubscribe. So it's kind of slightly complicated and it's gonna change constantly. So I wrote all that down, and then I had a sticker here for the first frost because I wanted to make sure we drained our sprinkler system and all the stuff you have to do when the weather starts freezing. It didn't actually freeze, and it probably won't freeze until mid-December now, just the way the weather's working. So I just went ahead and wrote that didn't actually happen that day, so that I'm not looking back at it thinking that we did have a frost that day. Okay. So here is my very much used dashboard. I used to never use this in the past, I don't know, since July of 2022. I've been using this every month, and it's been a game changer for me. And it's silly because this is what these pages have been for this whole time. But I was trying to find some clever way to use these pages differently, but the best way to use them for me is literally what they're for. It's a question I see nonstop in Erin Condren Facebook groups. People always are like, how do I use these pages? That's I feel like is the number one question in those groups, other than, hey, does anyone have a coupon? I think that how do you use these pages is the number one question that people ask. And honestly, this is how I use them, and this is the way that has stuck. To-do list on this side, running list for the whole month, and then goals. Break up your goals into different sections of life and put them here, basically. That's it. So what's changing here for the next month is that I had this little separate section at the bottom for to call, to buy, and to go. I'm not doing that anymore because I never really have to calls and to goes. I have more to buys that I end up writing here. And so I kind of changed that up a little bit. This was a special to-do list I broke out for vacation. I did it again for December for Christmas, but for the most part, this is literally just going to be a list. And then I will use a sticky note, and I have one here that I can show you. This sticky note that says to buy on it for my stuff to buy, because then I can take the note with me when I leave. I don't bring my planner anywhere. So I can take the sticky note when I go to stores so that I don't forget what it is I need to buy. And so this is going to go away, this section, and the to call and to go will just go in the to-do list. This I always use for school and sometimes work. I have less and less work that I need to write in this planner, and so I'm really just leaving it for school. And I'm okay that it doesn't get used the whole way. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I don't have to utilize every square inch of space in this book to make it work for me. I think that's another thing that was a little hard to wrap my head around. And I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with. You don't have to use every single square centimeter of space to get the best function out of your planner. If there's a box that doesn't get written in, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to find here, I didn't write anything for school in October. Okay, but this obviously, you can see, this obviously worked for me. There's some sticky notes here covering up things that I don't want on the internet, but you can see I used this planner and I was organized in that way. So just because you don't use a box doesn't mean like you're wasting your planner. Like, I don't know, I hope that makes sense. I just checked everything off as I did them. And you can see I checked a ton of stuff off. The winter annuals, it looks like, is the only thing I didn't do. And actually my front yard looks really bad right now. The flower bed area looks pretty bad. So I don't think I am going to do these. I think by the time I get around to doing it, they're going to end up dying pretty soon after that anyway, so I don't really want to invest the time and money into that. I just need to go clean up the ones from summer and fall and just kind of get that cleaned up so it doesn't look terrible. Okay, let's go day to day, basic to-do lists. I use the to-do list side. I don't have a lot of scheduled things. Some days I do. But most of the time I don't, and I'm just rewriting the same things over and over, like when we go to tennis and, you know, what we're having for dinner and the weather up here. And it's like, it was kind of becoming redundant, and I don't like redundancy. And I realized that I didn't need this. And a lot of things I would end up writing on the next day, like over and over. And so using a regular piece of lined paper as a running to-do list was a better solution for me, because I wouldn't have to keep rewriting everything all the time. And you know, it was always on a list, and when I got to it, I would check it off instead of having to rewrite it every single day. That just made more sense to me. And so as much as I love a to-do list, and most of my planning is task-based, I don't think I need a daily anymore on a regular basis. I think there are some days when I will need a daily list, and that will be easy to just use a notepad for, instead of using the daily duo. I do have the other half of this that I will use in the beginning of the year, until it is over in the end of June. But I don't know. At this point, I don't have plans to buy another daily duo next year. Of course, I will have 6 months of using the other half of this book on the days that I need it, that I might decide I need to use the daily duo every day again. I don't know. Things change, but right now, as of today, when I'm setting up my planners for 2023, I'm not thinking I'm going to use the daily duo on a daily basis. This was a week at a glance I did a plan with me on this one, and this was the week before we went on our trip. And you can see I didn't come back and check anything off. I didn't use it. This was that week, and I used this instead. And you can see I definitely used it, like there's things crossed off and whatnot. So I thought that was interesting. I already had it there, and so I didn't need it here, right? This was just kind of a notes page. I just wrote some things down. This was my filming. I was trying to get all of this filming done, and I was able to do that. That was awesome. What is this? This got bent. This was just a list of things. I don't know what this was for. Maybe I think this was a list of journals and things I was planning to buy. Actually, this greeting cards and organization box, I need to figure that out too, because one of my goals is to send cards every month to the people whose birthdays and stuff, you know, in my important people in my life who are having birthdays. I would like to send them birthday cards. And so I need to have like a solution for that. So I'm not like, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday tomorrow, I don't have a card, and so I never sent it to them. That's something I need to remember. I'm actually gonna pull this sticky note out and put it over here. Let me put it on today's today's list so I can look at it later today. Okay. I wrote a note here that I was very distracted today. Too many ideas and kept chasing all of them. But I did cook dinner and do self-care. So that was like a note I wanted to write to myself because I didn't do anything. And that's nice to know that I did have some wins that day, even if I didn't get anything done. What else? Let's keep going. This is all mostly the same. It all looks the same. I do this little stripe down the side here to visually note when my son is at school, just to help me, he's at school at the same time every day, so it's not like I need it to remember those hours, but it is nice to see how much time I have left before he's gonna come home, like if I'm trying to work through a to-do list or something. All right, these were the last couple of days before we left on vacation. And then this was a weekend day, so of course I didn't use my planner. I didn't even turn this into a weekend page. This was the day before we left, so I actually used it as a Sunday list because we were leaving the next day, very early in the morning. I didn't use this notes page, and then I had just kind of, earlier in the week, I wrote this out, which was our flight, just to kind of get an idea of the timing. And then the next week, I didn't use the planner because I was on vacation. We were out of town until this day. Then we came home and in-laws were in town and didn't use it. And then here's what I did for Thanksgiving planning. So I showed you the one list that I made in here for Thanksgiving planning. And I don't know where that is. Here it is. So this was the menu and the shopping list. And then this is the day of. So I used my daily duo that day to write out my game plan. And I thought that worked really well. Even though I didn't end up coming back and checking things off, it was nice to have it all in one place to kind of get my thought process out on paper. And then once I did that, I didn't really need to reference the list. I just needed to write it down to like know the order I needed to do everything in. The next day I slept in, which is a huge change because I used to always wake up super early and go Black Friday shopping with my mom, but we don't really do that anymore. So I did sleep in. We slept in really late that day, and that was nice. I played Minecraft this day, which I didn't write here, but I wrote my coordinates for where my base was in the new world that we generated. My husband and I played together. And I just had a note because it'd been so long since I'd played Minecraft that I couldn't remember, and I had to look it up. I had to Google what Y level in the game that iron is usually found. So I used my daily duo the way it was intended this weekend and used the separate weekend days, the way you're supposed to. And I think this was just notes. So that wasn't like a schedule. It was just, I needed a place to write some things down. This was just notes for the next week, which is actually the current week. I was trying to figure out what to write on my monthly tracker for 2023. Some other things, some notes. I said I want to learn about moon stuff. I've already forgotten that I wrote that down. I do want to learn about moon stuff. I am interested in it, and I've been saying this for like a year now, that I think the moon is cool and like how the moon affects our lives. It's part of our universe, and the moon greatly affects like our atmosphere and the things that happen on our planet. And so I don't think it's weird to think that different phases of the moon and positioning of that can also affect us as human beings. But anyway, I want to learn more about that, and I want to see maybe there's things I can do in my life that have to do with the moon, and it's things that maybe our ancestors knew and we just have lost over time, and that would be cool to learn. Read almost daily. I didn't want to commit to saying I want to read every single day because, sometimes I don't want to read. And then exercise in the morning. That was something I wanted to add to like my goals. And like as I'm thinking about my goals coming up on the new year, those are some things I wanted to like incorporate and add to those. The last few days of the month, just kind of working things here. And then I did a monthly reflection there. And I'll just put that there and you can pause it if you want to read it. And now on your phone, you can actually zoom in and out. So that was that. That was how I used all 3 of my planners in the month of November. These 2, the horizontal and the daily duo, will probably still get used quite a bit in December. This one, the Family Organizer book, I'm going to go ahead and give myself permission to stop using it. Unless I just think of a reason to need it. I'm just going to put it on my shelf and kind of get ready to move on from it. And that will help me because I also have other planners on my desk now that are getting ready for 2023, and I can't have all of these plus those like everywhere. So this one is going to get retired for now. So these ones, you will see this one on Plan With Me's for the next few weeks. This one you might see more on Instagram. And yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, please consider subscribing. I do post this video every month at the beginning of the month, so you can keep seeing my flip throughs from the month every single month. And then I also post planning videos 3 times a week on my channel, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And now hopefully I will start incorporating a vlog. The plan right now is to have it go up on Saturdays, like a weekly vlog, but I don't know. I'm not committing to anything. It's something new. I'm trying it out. And so far I like it, but we'll see. Anyhow, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.